Happy lunch hour, gang. Okay, plodding on through a Tuesday, and give you this. We've all heard the term held together by bubblegum and shoestrings. Held together by, I don't know, spit and baling wire. Welcome to the U.S. electrical grid. Right? We all know, we've all read 1 second after. Book's, 30 years old at this point, talking about how we haven't hardened the grid. They've known this since the 1960s when it's been talked about. Have we done anything? No. We're still running on the same technology, if you will, that we ran on when the population of the country was half of what it is now. And we'll just add on something here, put more stress on the grid. We'll fix this with leftover parts that we scrounged up from somewhere with bubblegum and shoestrings or spit and baling wire. We're cobbling together the lifeblood of the country, right? Possibilities of an EMP. Oh, I don't know. Higher and higher every day, getting closer and closer to it. And yet we do nothing about it. We've talked about how the parts for substations or transformers are a year to 2 years on back order, right? And yet nobody does anything about it. Well, that was pretty self-evident yesterday, in case we caught this. Baltimore. And no, we're not going to talk about another shooting in Baltimore. No, we're not going to talk about Trump bringing in the National Guard to cut down crime in Washington, D.C. No, we're not going to talk about football or baseball or anything like that. We're going to talk about power. Did y'all see what was put out by BGE yesterday, Baltimore Gas and Electric? This came out early afternoon yesterday. BGE is asking all customers to conserve electricity to reduce the potential for widespread outages this afternoon and evening as the result of a power plant experiencing an unplanned disconnection from the BGE electrical system. In addition to conserving electricity beginning immediately and through this evening, we also recommend customers prepare for a potential outage. More information on outage preparedness. Preparedness. What a concept. Okay. And they say, go look at this website. Great. Now, they were kind of vague, I guess, if you will, about what they were talking about, what happened. But basically what they had was a substation failure. In other words, parts didn't work. This affected about 1.3 million people yesterday. Yeah, that wouldn't be a tiny little burg. I mean, my internet was out Sunday morning for about an hour. That was it. It was fixed. Okay. So be it. We just did our stuff on cell phone service, cell towers, 4G for us. Okay. But all right. But what was the cause? Was it overly hot in Baltimore yesterday? No. Did a hurricane hit? No. This was the failure of old parts. This was also the failure about the illustrious Maryland government, very blue in case you wondered, okay, shifting away from common sense. We'll close down our coal plants. We'll close down our nuclear plants. We'll go green everything. And as I've said to you guys a million times, green energy is fine on an individual basis, maybe even on a small-size corporate basis. You've got a business and you can put solar panels on a roof or something like that. Great. And it might do pretty good for you. But when you are reliant on alternative energy, the green news scam to power a city, newsflash, you're a fool, okay? And when you try to take old technology, the grid, and put new technology through it, gee, there's a surprise that maybe everything's not going to work perfectly. Now, granted, there's not a whole lot of rocket science involved putting a current through a wire, right? Where the current comes from is one thing. But yeah, now you get into power surges and things like that, or lack thereof. And all of a sudden, 1.3 million people are told immediately to prepare to have no electricity. Now, by yesterday evening, Baltimore got this fixed with bubble gum and shoelaces and with spit and baling wire. Is it going to happen again? Oh, guaranteed it will, because you can only put temporary fixes on for things for so long. And by the time you get to 60 years, yeah, you need to stop with the temporary fixes and rebuild this stuff with current technology. And granted, if the wires are still good, that's fine, right? But the source power is different. So what do you do if you're one of those 1.3 million people yesterday who were told, plan for power outages? I don't know. Were you at home and maybe now the air conditioner didn't work? Or, God forbid, some medical device you have at home doesn't work? What if you own a small business and the lights aren't on? Or the cash register doesn't work? Or, I don't know, you own a gas station, the refrigerators all go out. Or the gas pumps don't work. You don't get that time back if you own a business to earn money, okay? Gee, we just lost a day's worth of business. No problem. Hey, we can close down anytime we want. I don't care. I've got money to burn in my pocket. Or you're at home and you go, crap, mom needs that dialysis or whatever. We can't afford it. Remember the story that I showed you guys, one of the recipients of one of the power stations that we had donated during Helene to the family whose child was on all sorts of machines and no power. And they were trying to run his machines off a gas generator and scrambling to get gasoline stuff, right? Yeah. Imagine that's you. Granted, this lasted a short time. But imagine how you're freaking out when all the meat in your freezer could possibly go bad. Or the milk in the fridge. Or your insulin. Or whatever. What is your backup solution? Because this isn't going to happen less often. This is going to happen more often as the infrastructure gets more decrepit, more spit and baling wire, and all of a sudden it's not there. Then you start talking about the people to fix it. Well, either we raise your electric rates, like they aren't high enough already, okay, or we're going to have to cut costs somewhere. So that means we'll cut a couple of linemen. So now it takes longer to fix it because nobody wants to pay higher rates, but we got to pay these employees somehow, right? Because the company, Exelon, who's the parent company of BG&E in this case, well, they've got to cut costs somehow. What are they going to do? Okay. They haven't improved on the infrastructure, But what they have done is cost them a ton of money that they've got to recoup somehow, because they put in all these windmills that over the long haul cost more than the electricity they generate. Okay. It comes to the point of self-sufficiency, that you've got to do something on your own. Maybe you want to go off grid. Now, if you're in the city, probably not a real good possibility. If you're in the country, sure, maybe you could. If you live in an apartment, going off grid, not really practical. Right? But having something for backup is. And this is the thing. Now, you guys know me. I talk to the solar companies all the time and try to find whatever's going on for things. Talked to Klein over at Blue Eddy. Talked to him a bit this morning. And they are running a current special on the Apex 300. If you guys remember me reviewing that, what was it, a month and a half ago, thereabouts, month and a half ago, something like that. I'll link the video below if you want to go back and look at the specs on this thing. But this was their entry into the whole house, whole apartment, whole condo type application. Let's use that as a term. Okay. I mean, this is the one that was a 3840 watt, 2,764 watt hour generator that was expandable, one of them, up to 11.5 kilowatts of output, and scalable up to 58 kilowatt hours that you could feasibly hook up to your whole home. Now, everybody's needs are different. I had a conversation with somebody at the bowling alley yesterday, and he's like, if you don't mind, he goes, I'd like to connect somebody with you who's got a question about solar. And of course, my first comment was yes. I said, let's talk. I said, because the first thing I need to know is what his expectations are, what he's trying to accomplish, because there's different different things for everybody. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry, this is one take. So you got to sneeze. But, okay, so let's say you're looking at, I need something to keep the fridges, the freezers running. Okay, you can do it with this. Maybe you add one battery to it. And you go, all right, I'm good. I've got 5,000 watt hours. I'm good. That'll run me for 24 hours or something. Maybe you're like, I want to keep the lights on. Maybe I've got a smaller house or a condo or something, and I want to keep the HVAC system running. Maybe you can use this. It's the advantage of these expandable and scalable systems where you don't need to go massive. You can go to whatever size fits. So Klein was telling me about this, and again, I've already reviewed the generator. I thought this thing was fabulous. But so he was telling me about the deals that they have going on it. So we're on sale right now. And then he's like, do you want to tell everybody about the sale? I'm like, sure. So what are we doing? He's like, well, I can get you guys an extra 10% off. I'm like, all right, that sounds good. So we will do that. So down here, if you're interested in this, you can get 10% off on any of the packages on the Apex 300 that they have. So if you're looking at just the standalone generator, if you want to add a couple of batteries to it, if you want to add the different hubs that you can get to it, if you want to add solar panels to it, there's a whole bunch. I will link the page below and you can kind of take a look at it. But what are you going to do if the next story that comes out, immediately plan on blackouts and brownouts, is your area? I don't know, hurricane season, wildfires, incompetence. If you live in a blue state, it'd be a really good idea to have some backup there. But I wanted to warn you about what's going on in the capital cities of many states, that these people are not looking out for your best interest. Oh, we can just shut them down for a few hours, no big deal, because we weren't willing to spend the money to upgrade this because we had to spend the money on, oh, I don't know, building a new statue to George Floyd. That's the priorities. Reminder, these mayors, governors, city councilmen, aldermen, whatever they want to call themselves, don't have your best interest in mind. The only person that's going to take care of you is you. Make sure you do something about it. Pinball out.